As we start, we would like to pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to recognise the traditional custodians of the land upon which we work and live, the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. This land was never ceded. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Indigenous peoples are this land's original storytellers. Stories have been passed down on this land for millennia. The handing down of these stories was disrupted by violences, unchecked genocide, dispossession, and invasion. In 2020, the legacies of white supremacy remain intact. They permeate our past, inform our present, and terrorize our futures. As non-Indigenous minority settlers, othered bodies on unceded land, there is no easy answer or fix. It is a lifelong commitment to change and commitment to work, to pay the rent, to rally against inequalities in the small ways we can, and in the big ways we can together.
Staring at a computer screen, tracing lines, transmissions, malfunctions. A figure disappears and reappears, a glitch in time. Visual errors, a moment of lag, a screen skip, a new model materializes. Staring at the computer screen, your face stops and starts. I describe my lunch, but you can't hear me. Then the spinning wheel of death.
In 1999, the Mars Climate Orbiter burned to pieces on arrival. The NASA Review Board found the fault was a mix-up between pound seconds and Newton seconds in the calculations controlling the vehicle's thrusters. Human error. Open terminal. Oxymoron. Ping google.com. Request timeout for ICMP_SEQ52203. Beep. Request timeout for ICMP_SEQ52204. Beep. Beep. Request timeout for ICMP_SEQ52205. Beep. Turn the router off, get a glass of water, turn the router on.
We live amid unpredictability. Tears in the fabric increasingly reveal themselves. Can we take a glitch and refashion it to suit the mood? Can a glitch be a sign of disaffection, of continued existence, of intimacy? Liminal presents Glitch, our second digital series of writing, art, and more.
Hi, I'm Leah, and I'm delighted to present Glitch with my co-editors Adalia and Cher.
The Liminal Glitch series is supported by the City of Melbourne Arts Grants Program.
So we're beginning our readings today with a reading by Michael Sun from his piece that was published on Liminal this morning. Every dream is a dream of the apocalypse. Michael Sun is a writer, he's a designer. In 2020, he is the Kill Your Darlings new critic. This piece winds heartbreak with the apocalypse, with anxieties, with famous 90s fashion icon Fran Drescher. And Michael uses writing and sound and image, which is very special because we asked him to write an essay that could perhaps not be reproduced on paper, something that could really only be experienced online, a digital blessing for a digital age. So please welcome Michael.
Hey, my name is Michael Sun, and before I begin, I'd just love to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, on whose land I'm reading, and on whose land I created and wrote this piece. Sovereignty was never ceded. The piece is called Every Dream is a Dream of the Apocalypse, and I'm going to be reading for you tonight an excerpt from the very beginning. 1. I don't remember the first time I can't sleep, but it doesn't matter. Every time the insomnia creeps back into my life, it feels new anyway, like speaking my first word. Except instead of mama, the word is, please God, let me have 1 minute of shut-eye before I have to work at 9 a.m. 2. I have developed rituals now for nights where I can feel the insomnia setting in. I lie, very still, between sheets that are both too hot and too cold, careful not to disturb the meditative limbo I am sometimes able to will myself into. I try not to think, then fail at not thinking. I do not move for hours until finally the sun rises and I can pick up my phone again to check my Instagram notifications. 3. The degree of self-control I have to exert to avoid picking up my phone at any point throughout a sleepless night is immense and often limit testing. But I am motivated by my biggest fear, becoming someone who can't sleep, doesn't sleep, because they have an Instagram addiction. 4. Courtney Barnett sings about insomnia. In an illustration of loneliness, Sleepless in New York, she lies awake and thinks about palmistry, her dinner plates, French baguettes, you, as in a distant, fantastical lover. 5. When I lie awake, I think about every conspiracy theory I have ever read, childhood trauma, emailing, not as in sending any particular email to a specific recipient, but the concept of emailing itself, you, as in me. 6. Does anyone else think about themselves in the second person? In January 2020, Kyle Plant Emoji sends the internet into meltdown by tweeting, "Fun fact, some people have an internal narrative and some don't. As in, some people's thoughts are like sentences they hear, and some people just have abstract non-verbal thoughts and have to consciously verbalize them. And most people aren't aware of the other type of person. I wonder how other people, those with internal narratives, think about themselves. I wonder if addressing myself in second person forces me to be more reflective. It doesn't. Or more direct. It doesn't." 7. Question. What do 90s style icon Fran Drescher and Australian anti-vaxxer celebrity chef Pete Evans have in common? 8. Sometimes insomnia isn't that different from being asleep. When I lie awake for hours, I begin to feel stuck inside a waking dream or nightmare. When I do manage to doze off, I often have fitful dreams that upon waking carry the illusion of not having slept at all. 9. My insomnia sounds like this. Nabokov liked to record his dreams, to test a theory that they were a proleptic view of an event to come. The Paris Review publishes part of Nabokov's dream diary and adds, "In this first installment, Nabokov dreams about eating rare soil samples. 3 days later, the soil samples appear in a documentary he's watching on TV. 11. My mum tells me I could see the future as a child. We are sitting in a car outside a Chinese grocery in Eastwood. She goes in and I stay there, seatbelt buckled, thinking. Later I ask her to explain what she meant, but instead of answering, she says, 'You could also see demons.' 12. In 2016, I am diagnosed with anxiety. When my psychiatrist tells me this, I say, well, obviously, and then I recount all the anxious things I think about when asleep and not asleep. I want her to say, don't worry, your dreams are just anxious because they contain visions of the future that send your brain into overdrive. But instead she says, I want you to read a book called Feeling Good 2nd edition by David D. Burns. 13. Answer. Both Evans and Drescher believe that 5G causes cancer. I add this to the list of conspiracy theories I will think about next time I can't sleep. 14. There is a dream I've been having for as long as I can recall. In this dream, which takes place in a void, an amorphous shape sharpens into view, ballooning outwards at breakneck speed to cover my field of vision. Then it becomes small again, shrinking to something palm-sized, smooth and shiny, glistening as if wet. The dream looks like this. If dreams are glimpses into the future, then this one is of the apocalypse. 15. Jay tells me she has started lucid dreaming. She posts about her lucid dreams to her 10,000 Tumblr followers, many of whom reblog and respond enthusiastically. In her lucid dreams, she sees Misha Collins and Jared Padalecki, stars of the CW show Supernatural, 2005 onwards. Thank you so much for listening, and you can check out the rest of that piece up on Liminal magazine online now. Thank you.
I had the pleasure of editing Ava Remedi's essay, Copies Can Lead. It's also a joint collaboration with visual artist Roberta Joy Rich, who worked on the images. The essay presents itself stylistically as one which I like to call artful. Ava examines the idea of the glitch through visual art in relation to his own arts practice. Through the act of imitation and marginalized histories, stitching together the work of Roberta's and Chinese-Dutch artist Jing He to think about what it means to be authentic in a world where nothing is original. Please welcome Ava.
Hi, I'm Ava Remedy, and this is a reading from my piece, Copies Can Lead, for the Emerging Writers Festival 2020. Words, sculptures, terms, clothing, trademarks, classify, histories. Repeating you and me and us, copies can lead to transformation. So walk forward, arm up, clench fist, head tilts up. It's the year 2016, and my wander around the wonderful Kinokuniya bookstore leads me to a copy of Jing He's Tulip Pyramid, Copy and Identity Text, an introduction to her art practice. 4 years later, at the art studio testing grounds, I find myself repeating behaviors day after day for months, trying to understand what it means to be a resident artist, to have an art practice for myself. Amidst all of my own copying, the work of fellow resident Roberta Joy Rich becomes known to me.
Thanks, Ava. Next up, we have Cecile Richard. Cecile Richard is a graphic designer, illustrator, zine maker, and game designer living in Melbourne. Last week, their game Endless Scroll won Excellence in Visual Art at the Free Play Awards and was nominated across 2 other categories. Their personal work often revolves around memory, connection, and belonging. They like birds and AFL. Liminal are extremely lucky to publish Cecile, who is working virtuosically at the intersection of games and visual art and literature, which is where we wanted Glitch to live. I've already gone back to reread this piece so many times since Cecile sent it through. Their ability to use the limited palette of Bitsy to so strongly evoke a sense of place, and I guess non-place, feels like this kind of melancholy magic. Cecile will be reading from their piece, Under a Star Called Sun, which will be published on our website tomorrow.
This is Cecile. First off, I want to acknowledge that this video and the game it features were made on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respect to their elders, past and present and emerging. Sovereignty was never ceded. Thank you. Under a Star Called Sun. I wake up. The sun gently caresses my face, and for a second, I believe I'm back on Earth. I make myself some coffee, and you'd laugh if I said it never tastes as good as the ones you get from the cafes back home. I would turn back and go home, but the trajectory of this ship is unchanging. I check on the plants in the greenhouse. I check for bugs. I check the moisture of the soil. I check the dust on the leaves. And when no one's around, I hum to them. In a normal message, I'd be saying shit like, "How's it going? What's new? So when are you finally gonna move to Melbourne? I'm so excited to see you again." Oh, Atlas holds up the firmament and endures one day at a time. I remember when I first heard the news. I woke up earlier than usual, and I get a message from a friend, and my phone freezes. And one could attribute this to planned obsolescence, but maybe. You know, there's a room on this ship. I won't tell you how it works. In this room, I can recreate the last time I saw you, over and over and over and over. It was late morning on a perfectly ordinary August day. We were meeting up for brunch at a cafe close to mine. A lineup of friends I only see occasionally. I think you ordered a fancy sandwich, or maybe just a salad. Then we sat in the park, talked for a while. You had to get going, meeting another friend. You stepped on the 19 tram to North Coburg and smiled, framed between the pneumatic doors, beautiful under the fluorescent light. You said, "See you next time." Was it sunny or cloudy that day? What did you order? What did we talk about? What did your voice sound like? What was the expression on your face when we said goodbye? The memory gets corrupted with each new iteration of it. Like a wave washing over writings on sand over and over. Like a cassette tape played over and over. Like a JPEG saved over and over. You know what I'm talking about. You'd laugh about this comparison too. The deep-fried meme of memory. I think it's funny too. But one day, the memory will be so distorted that I won't get to see you anymore. I wish I had made more of an effort to remember. I wish I had taken more photos. When a perfectly ordinary day turns into a perfectly extraordinary day, who do you blame for misfiling a memory in the file cabinets of your brain? The trajectory of this ship is unchanging. And if nothing else, I must cherish the approximate. Oh, Atlas holds up our poisoned world and endures once more. And I'm writing this, and I know I'm a visual person, and it's not like you'll write back from the far edges of outer space. But one day I'll get there, and I'll hug you, and I'll say I missed you, and I'll say I love you. Until then, I check on the plants in the greenhouse. I check for bugs. I check the moisture of the soil. I check the dust on the leaves. And when no one's around, I hum to them.
Thank you to everyone for watching, and thank you to the Emerging Writers Festival for having us.
And thanks to Ava, Cecile, and Mikey for reading.
And thanks to all our other glitch artists whose work will be appearing on our website over the next week and a half. Bye.